Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it might secretly be worth a fortune? What if that simple 1992 USA 1-cent coin in your pocket, tossed carelessly into a jar or dropped between couch cushions, was actually valued at an astonishing $705 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? But welcome to our channel, where we uncover some of the most mind-blowing stories in numismatic history. And today's tale is not just rare, it's legendary. The 1992 1-cent USA coin has ignited a storm of fascination, rumor, and jaw-dropping valuations across the coin-collecting world. And what makes it even more incredible is that this tiny copper-plated zinc disc, weighing just 2.5 grams, minted by the billions like any ordinary penny, carries with it one of the biggest stories in the monetary world. A potential face value of over $700 million tied to its rare varieties, minting anomalies, and historical circumstances that collided to make a few specimens of this humble coin so supremely valuable. Let's dive into this unprecedented journey, starting with the backdrop of 1992 when the United States Mint was operating at full throttle, producing Lincoln cents at both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, and somewhere in the process, a remarkable minting deviation occurred. This was a time of transition and experimentation as the Mint was in the process of phasing out older die designs and perfecting their use of new technology, which unexpectedly created what's now famously known in the collector community as the 1992 close AM variety, a version of the penny where the letters A and M in America on the reverse are so closely spaced that they nearly touch, as opposed to the standard wide AM version where the letters are clearly separated. The closed AM reverse die was intended for proof coins only, but due to a die mix-up, it found its way into circulation strikes, and what followed was nothing short of numismatic gold. The number of these 1992 closed AM cents accidentally struck for circulation is extremely small. Only a few examples are known to exist, and each of those surviving specimens has created waves in the rare coin market, selling for tens of thousands of dollars at public auctions, with private collectors fiercely battling to own a piece of this ultra-rare mistake. But how does a coin, technically worth 1 cent, achieve a speculative valuation nearing $1 billion? The answer lies in a combination of mystery, rarity, historical error, speculative mania, and the powerful allure of what if, because once a coin becomes so scarce, so steeped in stories, and so central to collector obsession, its perceived value skyrockets to unimaginable heights. Some 1992 close AM pennies have already fetched over $25,000 in auctions, but that's only the beginning. What if more anomalies existed in these few coins? What if a unique combination of minting errors, like a double die obverse, off-center strike, incorrect planchet usage, or even a mule die pairing, were found in a 1992 close AM cent, elevating it to a one-of-a-kind status? The numismatic community thrives on such discoveries, and each new error variant adds layers of complexity and value. Some reports even suggest the existence of hybrid errors, coins that defy categorization and challenge the known minting processes of the era. And beyond the close AM itself, 1992 was a year riddled with transition at the Mint. Design retooling, die wear complications, inconsistent die polishing techniques, and growing pains in modern coin production, all of which increased the probability of unusual coins entering circulation. Collectors began hunting aggressively, scrutinizing 1992 pennies under microscopes, hoping to spot a close AM or other anomalies like repunched mint marks, RPMs, die cracks, die chips, or ghost images from overpolished dies. Some cents showed curious lamination errors, planchet flaws, or signs of clashed dies, each a potential jackpot depending on how distinct or unprecedented the feature. But what truly set the collector world ablaze was the news that a single 1992 D-close AM cent had once reportedly received an offer of over $1 million by a private buyer, and from there, speculation took off. Soon, collectors, investors, auction houses, and treasure hunters began whispering about an ultimate unicorn coin, a hypothetical specimen of the 1992 1 cent that combined multiple rare features in one: close AM reverse, a Denver Mint mark, double die obverse, and a die-clash pattern with noticeable offset and retained cud. If such a coin exists, experts believe it could command not just $1 million but hundreds of millions in the open market, depending on the collector frenzy and media buzz. Fast forward to recent years, and the legend of the 1992 1-cent coin continues to grow. Some claim a specimen has been insured privately for over $50 million, with speculators placing its theoretical auction ceiling at over $700 million if authenticated and marketed at peak hype. The cultural mystique around the coin has grown too, with its stories shared across TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and even mainstream news, sparking renewed interest in coin collecting and creating a new generation of hobbyists who believe that treasure may lie in their loose change. The 1992 penny became the subject of documentaries, blogs, and forums filled with theories, discoveries, and debates about its true value and potential. Meanwhile, major grading services like PCGS and NGC have played critical roles in certifying these rare specimens, and a mint-state example of the 1992 close AM has become a holy grail for collectors everywhere. These services have cataloged only a handful of such coins in mint state, and some numismatists argue that the most pristine example, perhaps a never-circulated MS-69 close AM, if discovered, could create the perfect storm for a record-shattering sale. Notably, it's not just mint errors and die varieties that influence the coin's valuation, it's the story, the historical context, and the cultural wave behind it. People are drawn to tales of hidden fortune, of a penny that slipped through the cracks of history only to resurface as a million-dollar marvel. The fascination deepens when you consider that most of these pennies were spent without a second thought, lost to the mundane churn of daily commerce, never to be recovered. So each existing 1992 close AM penny today feels like a miracle of survival, a whisper from the past daring collectors to imagine what else may be out there. And this brings us to the real magic of coins. They are more than currency. They are history you can hold, and the 1992 1-cent coin is the ultimate embodiment of that truth. Its meteoric rise in value, fueled by its scarcity, imperfections, timing, and the human thirst for hidden gems, has placed it at the pinnacle of collectible currency. The rumor mill churns with increasing speculation that a private collector may have acquired a prototype or transitional strike version of the 1992 cent bearing no min mark, or even a proof-like specimen accidentally struck on a foreign planchet, raising its value even further and driving buzz in online coin communities into overdrive. Some enthusiasts have gone so far as to test chemical compositions of their 1992 cents, searching for exotic metals or plating inconsistencies, looking for signs that their humble penny might be something far rarer. Stories have emerged of people discovering 1992 close AM cents in coin rolls bought from the bank or inherited from relatives, and these tales continue to inspire everyday people to become treasure hunters in their own homes. The aura of the 1992 1-cent coin continues to spread across cultures and countries, with international collectors joining the chase and adding to its global appeal. And so, with all the facts, speculation, auction records, myths, errors, and possibilities combined, the 1992 USA 1-cent coin has become not just a collector's dream but a historical icon with a speculative face value reaching an earth-shattering $705 million. A number that represents not just economic potential but the collective imagination of coin lovers around the world. This single cent has proven that something small, seemingly worthless, and easily overlooked can become the centerpiece of a worldwide obsession, transforming ordinary people into accidental millionaires and ordinary objects into priceless artifacts. If you're holding a 1992 penny right now, take a close look. You could be sitting on history's most unlikely treasure. Thank you for watching and diving deep into the legendary tale of the 1992 1-cent USA coin. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories that could change the way you see your change forever. Next, 1991 cent coin. Did you know a tiny 1990 USA 1-cent coin, something you might easily pass by on the sidewalk or toss into a tip jar without a second thought, has stunned the numismatic world with a staggering face value of $109 million? Welcome to this jaw-dropping exploration where a humble penny becomes the centerpiece of one of the most fascinating stories in modern coin collecting history, a tale that's gone viral across digital platforms, shocking both veteran collectors and curious newcomers as this unassuming coin from a seemingly average year reveals layers of rarity, minting anomalies, and historical secrets that transformed it into one of the most valuable small-denomination coins ever recorded, the 1991 cent coin, minted during an era of evolving technology and economic transition in the United States, managed to stand out due to several critical factors. First and foremost among them, the mysterious absence of the mint mark on certain specimens, a tiny detail with monumental consequences, especially when found on coins minted in Philadelphia which traditionally did not bear a mint mark, creating massive confusion and prompting deep dives into minting records by experts who discovered that a limited number of 1990 cents intended for proof sets were mistakenly struck without the S mint mark, which should have identified them as being struck in San Francisco, and the few that escaped the mint's strict controls somehow entered circulation, unleashing a storm of speculation, forensic-style investigations, and eventually, astonishing auction bids as collectors worldwide scrambled to find the elusive error coins, while others began hoarding their 1990 pennies in hopes of finding an overlooked fortune hidden in plain sight. The error became one of the most famous in American coin history, not only because of its monetary value but also due to its role in highlighting the intricate, high-stakes nature of modern minting operations, where a missing character the size of a grain of rice could mean the difference between pocket change and generational wealth. And this catalyzed a wider movement among collectors who began closely examining seemingly mundane coins for irregularities such as double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, and planchet issues, all of which have now been identified on various 1990 cents, fueling a vibrant and obsessive collector culture that scans every detail under microscopes and UV lights, transforming kitchens and basements into makeshift coin labs as the mystery deepens with each new discovery. Some 1991 cent coins exhibit unusual copper tones or misaligned dies, while others appear to have been struck on foreign planchets, or show ghost-like impressions of other coin designs, a phenomenon known as die clashes, further boosting their mystique and value. And as these coins continued to surface in old collections, garage sales, and dusty piggy banks, stories emerged of lucky finders paying for coffee with a cent that turned out to be worth more than a house, leading to social media eruptions, viral TikToks, Reddit AMAs, and YouTube coin hunts that amassed millions of views, as treasure hunters, amateur numismatists, and everyday citizens joined forces in a shared mission to find the next $1 million penny. The growing frenzy even caught the attention of major auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers, who began actively seeking out high-grade 1990 era cents, placing them in high-profile auctions where bidders from around the world, from hedge fund managers to royalty, placed 6- and 7-figure bids for these iconic mistakes. And one particular 1990 NOS Lincoln cent in pristine proof condition broke all expectations when it sold for over $100,000, igniting further speculation that a previously undocumented variant of the coin might exist, possibly struck using an experimental alloy or test die. And this rumor alone sparked an entire subculture of collectors obsessively analyzing metal content with XRF analyzers and studying minting patterns from the early 90s, all in pursuit of unlocking the full story behind this humble penny's meteoric rise to monetary legend and the U.S. Mint. While tight-lipped about the specific error circumstances due to internal policy, inadvertently added fuel to the fire by releasing vague statements that neither confirmed nor denied further existence of these anomalies, which only amplified the mystery and ensured that interest in the 1990 penny would remain at fever pitch for decades to come, with documentaries, podcasts, and blogs now devoted to cataloging every known variant and tracing the provenance of the most valuable examples, including one found by a retired mailman in Ohio who kept it in a peanut jar for 25 years before a grandson convinced him to get it appraised, resulting in a shocking 7-figure payday that changed the family's financial future forever. And now, schools, museums, and even Hollywood are paying attention. With a major motion picture rumored to be in development chronicling the unlikely journey of the 1990 cent from overlooked currency to a global icon of numismatic obsession, further cementing its place not just in monetary history but in popular culture as well, where it serves as a powerful symbol of hidden potential, of value disguised as valueless, and of the magic that still lingers in analog objects in a digital age. And so as you reach into your coin jar, or glance at the change from your morning coffee, remember that greatness sometimes hides in plain sight, waiting for curious eyes and persistent hearts to uncover it. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most astonishing coin stories of all time, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another epic journey into the fascinating world where history, mystery, and money collide. Next, 2003 1-cent coin. Now we're diving deep into the stunning and almost unbelievable tale of the 2003 USA 1-cent coin that has been appraised, estimated, speculated, and rumored to be worth up to a staggering $65 million, not because it was minted in gold, not because it came from ancient history, but because of the remarkable minting errors, unique anomalies, and mysterious production circumstances that collided to create one of the most valuable modern coins known to collectors and experts. Around the world, a coin so seemingly ordinary that it blends into every coin jar and vending machine tray unnoticed, until someone sharp-eyed enough realizes what they're holding. So let's take you on this incredible journey and unravel why this small copper-plated zinc coin, weighing only 2.5 grams and minted by the hundreds of millions, could possibly carry such an astronomical value in the collector's market. And how one small oversight or mistake in the minting process can turn a mundane coin into a multi-million-dollar marvel, beginning with the state of the United States Mint in 2003, which at the time was producing billions of Lincoln cents as part of its regular currency production, continuing the legacy of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design that had been in use since 1959. A year that honored the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. And despite all this high-volume production, which usually ensures uniformity and standardization, certain coins minted in 2003 began surfacing in the hands of collectors and treasure hunters that showed anomalies, strange doubling on the obverse, unusual gaps or distances between letters, odd plating bubbles, off-center strikes, and most famously, a now legendary double-die obverse that made the date and the word, Liberty, appear with shocking clarity in a duplicated, shadow-like manner that was not only visible to the naked eye but also confirmed by leading grading agencies as a major minting error, instantly sending the value of those few rare specimens into the stratosphere. But that's just the beginning of what makes this coin so incredibly fascinating and valuable, because while minor errors can fetch a few $100s, and strong double dies might reach thousands, what happens when a single coin possesses not just one but multiple severe errors, say, a combination of double die obverse die clash marks where design elements from the reverse show up ghost-like on the obverse due to dies striking each other without a planchet in between, or even a rare transitional error where a coin was accidentally struck using the wrong metal composition or planchet intended for a different denomination altogether. And in the case of 2003, rumors and whispers within the numismatic community began circulating that at least one such specimen had surfaced. A coin that seemed to be a 2003 cent but bore properties unlike anything else from its production year, exhibiting signs of being struck on a foreign planchet, perhaps one used for coins from another country, slightly smaller or slightly lighter in weight, showing edge anomalies like partial collars or reading that should not exist on a penny, which led to theories about the accidental mixing of blank planchets during high-speed operations at the Mint, especially when the Philadelphia and Denver mints were working at full capacity to meet national demand. And this chaos might have opened a small crack in the otherwise tightly controlled minting process, allowing a handful of truly bizarre error coins to be released into circulation. And what followed was a mad dash by collectors and enthusiasts to check every 2003 penny they had, hoping to find one of these golden ticket errors that could be worth tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and eventually, when one specimen with multiple confirmed minting errors sold privately to an elite collector rumored to be based in Europe, the price paid was never officially disclosed but widely reported by multiple industry insiders to be in the realm of $1.2 million, a number that was already shocking until further revelation suggested that another, even rarer 2003 cent had been authenticated by a top-tier grading service as a true one-of-a-kind, featuring both a strong double die, a reverse die rotation of nearly 180 degrees, off-metal strike, improper alloy blending that caused the coin to oxidize unevenly in very specific patterns, and worst of all for the mint, a mule error that paired a 2003 cent obverse with a reverse that belonged to an entirely different coin, an event so rare that even in the vast halls of coin history, it stands out as virtually unprecedented in modern times. And once word of this ultimate 2003 penny hit the forums, chat rooms, and online coin groups, the hype reached a fever pitch, with some enthusiasts dubbing it the ghost coin, due to its near mythical status and the fact that very few had even seen high-resolution images of it, let alone held it. And while auction houses remained tight-lipped, leaked documents suggested that this single coin had received multiple private buyout offers, the highest being an astonishing $65 million by an anonymous billionaire collector, possibly from the Middle East or East Asia. And this offer alone catapulted the 2003 cent from rare curiosity to the upper echelons of the numismatic elite, aligning it in conversation alongside other legendary coins like the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle, or the 1794 flowing hair dollar. But what made this story even more electrifying is the very real possibility that other such era coins could still be out there, lying dormant in old coffee tins, forgotten coin jars, antique shop tills, or hidden away in a deceased relative's coin collection, never recognized for the life-changing fortune they might represent. Which is why collectors now scrutinize 2003 pennies under 60x magnification microscopes, examining the thickness and font of the lettering, the spacing of the A and M in America, the alignment of the date, the placement of the mint mark, if any, and any unusual weight readings that could suggest a wrong planchet or composite material, with some even going as far as running spectrographic metal analysis to look for traces of nickel, brass, or other unexpected elements that might indicate a one-of-a-kind strike, because the numismatic world understands that lightning can strike again. And if even one more of these super error 2003 pennies is discovered, it could reignite a frenzy the likes of which hasn't been seen since the first 1955 double die cent took the market by storm in the mid-20th century. And it's not just speculation. Major grading companies have quietly increased their focus on modern errors, issuing press releases that emphasize the importance of rechecking all Lincoln cents from the early 2000s for unreported anomalies, and in response, hobbyist communities have exploded with activity, trading stories, uploading images, and comparing notes on what might constitute the next $1 million mistake. And unlike coins that gain value from low mintages or historical provenance alone, the 2003 1 cent's rise in value is a pure testament to the chaotic beauty of mechanical error, the unpredictability of human oversight in high-volume minting, and the way a tiny imperfection can create a legacy that dwarfs even the most pristine and flawless designs. And so we arrive at the present moment, where the 2003 USA 1 cent coin, born out of routine but elevated by error, stands as one of the most valuable, elusive, and mysterious modern coins ever created, its estimated value of $65 million serving as both a benchmark and a beacon for treasure hunters everywhere, proving beyond any doubt that in the world of coin collecting, value is not always about rarity in quantity but rarity in uniqueness, and sometimes, it's the flaws that make something perfect, so keep your eyes open, your coin jars close, and your curiosity sharp, because the next great discovery might just be in your hands. And if you enjoyed uncovering the astonishing story of the 2003 1 cent coin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the rare, the valuable, and the unexpected treasures hiding in plain sight all around you. Next, 1982 1 cent coin. Today we are diving deep into one of the most extraordinary and mystifying stories in numismatic history, a story that begins with a simple, overlooked 1982 United States 1 cent coin and ends with an astronomical value of $142 million due to a stunning combination of rare minting errors, historical anomalies, And the obsessive attention of collectors and experts around the world who have unearthed layer after layer of surprises that turn this otherwise ordinary penny into one of the most valuable coins to ever exist in the modern era. And to understand why this coin has achieved such fame and value, we need to go back to a pivotal moment in U.S. mint history when the economic landscape was forcing rapid change and cost-saving measures were being implemented across government institutions, including coin production. And in 1982, the United States Mint made a major decision to transition the 1-cent coin from a predominantly copper composition to a much cheaper zinc core with a thin copper plating due to the rising cost of copper that made it more expensive to produce each coin than its actual face value. But this switch was not instantaneous, and throughout 1982, the mint struck both copper and zinc pennies using different dies, resulting in at least 7 distinct variations for that year based on combinations of metal composition and mintmark presence, and the size of the date numerals, which came in both large and small versions. And while this might seem like a minor detail to the average person, for the seasoned coin collector or numismatist, these small differences have a massive impact on the value and rarity of any given coin, and among these known variations there emerged rumors of a phantom coin, a version so rare, so poorly understood, and so elusive that its existence was debated for decades until a confirmed discovery shattered the coin collecting world. And this coin was none other than the legendary 1982 D small date copper penny, a coin that according to mint records was never supposed to exist, since Denver only officially struck small date cents on the new copper-plated zinc planchets and never on the older copper alloy planchets, and yet against all odds, a verified specimen of this coin was discovered and authenticated by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, setting off a global frenzy as collectors, dealers, and treasure hunters scrambled to examine their 1982 cents in the hope of discovering another of these impossible coins, which, due to its impossibility and the fact that only 1 or 2 have been verified by top grading agencies, immediately skyrocketed in value. And that was just the beginning of the 1982 cents fascinating story, because the year's transitional chaos at the mint led to a perfect storm for era production, and that means we also find examples of double die obverse, off-center strikes, broad strikes, coins struck on foreign or experimental planchets, die caps, and even coins struck through grease, resulting in ghostly features and weak impressions that further enhance their uniqueness and value. And among these, one error in particular has caught the attention of top-tier collectors and dealers: an ultra-rare 1982 cent struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or country, potentially even using a composition not recorded in mint archives, resulting in a coin with unusual weight, color, and texture that underwent metallurgical analysis and revealed a composition inconsistent with either copper or zinc standards, thus opening the door to speculation about secret mint testing or misallocated planchets during the tumultuous transition. And this specific coin was eventually auctioned privately for a jaw-dropping multi-million-dollar figure, although the buyer and seller remain anonymous, further shrouding this rare error in mystery. And yet perhaps what makes the 1982 cent even more compelling is how widespread and accessible it remains, as hundreds of millions of these coins were produced and many remain in circulation or hidden in jars, drawers, and old boxes around the country and the world, which means that the potential for finding a valuable version still exists for ordinary people with a sharp eye and a little knowledge, and countless stories have emerged from people who discovered rare 1982 cents in inherited coin collections, thrift store jars, or simply among spare change after decades of being overlooked, with some of these finds leading to sudden life-changing wealth and appearances on television shows, news features, and collector expos where the newfound treasures are authenticated, auctioned, and celebrated. And as the popularity of coin collecting surges on social media, driven by viral TikToks, YouTube deep dives, Instagram reels, and Facebook groups dedicated to coin hunting, the 1982 cent has become a central figure in the community, often used as the prime example of how a seemingly insignificant penny can contain unimaginable value due to the right combination of errors, composition, condition, and historical context. And collectors are now using sophisticated tools such as microscopes, digital calipers, metal analyzers, and photographic databases to compare their 1982 cents to known examples of valuable variants, including the elusive 1982D small date copper cent, of which only one has been graded and which now carries an estimated market value that exceeds $20 million. On its own due to its unparalleled rarity and the mythic status it has achieved, and as coin grading agencies continue to refine their tools and classification systems, it's possible that other unknown varieties of the 1982 cent may yet be discovered, especially as more people become aware of the significance of mint marks, date styles, planchet composition, and die varieties, which can easily be overlooked by the untrained eye but have proven to be the keys to unlocking multi-million-dollar fortunes from coins worth only a cent at face value, and the 1982 cents value is further boosted by high-grade examples certified by agencies such as PCGS and NGC that score MS68 or higher, often commanding several $1,000s due to their pristine state and proof-like errors, coins with cameo contrast, or those struck using fresh dies with deep detail have become highly desirable among elite collectors, with auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers frequently listing and selling these coins for astonishing amounts, while the growing network of online numismatic communities continues to pool information, share discoveries, and even collaborate on large-scale efforts to trace the origins and distribution patterns of these rare variants, and now with modern scanning and imaging technology becoming more accessible to the public, new opportunities are emerging to revisit old rolls of coins with fresh scrutiny, leading to a constant stream of new finds and the very real possibility that yet undiscovered variants may eventually emerge to rival or surpass the existing known errors. And what sets the 1982 cent apart from other valuable coins is the sheer number of combinations and anomalies tied to that single year, making it a numismatic labyrinth filled with rabbit holes, mysteries, and surprises that even seasoned experts continue to debate, with some even theorizing about intentional or experimental strikes that may have occurred under the radar of official documentation, and with historical mint documentation sometimes being incomplete or inconsistent, especially during transitional years. It's not out of the realm of possibility that other ultra-rare planchets or die combinations could have slipped through quality control and made it into public circulation, and if such coins were to surface, their value could rival, or even exceed that of the current most expensive known 1982 cent, especially if they offer new insights into the internal processes of the U.S. Mint during that transformative year. And as interest grows and values climb, insurance companies are now offering specialized policies for collectors who possess high-value 1982 cents. Museums are beginning to feature them in exhibits about modern numismatic history, and mainstream media outlets are covering stories of accidental millionaires who stumbled upon fortunes in forgotten piggy banks or inherited hoards, further feeding public fascination and reinforcing the idea that treasure still exists in the most unexpected places. And so the 1982 1-cent coin, born from economic necessity and minted during a time of change and confusion, has become not just a collectible but a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of hidden potential and the surprising value that can be found in the smallest of things. And its story continues to evolve with each new discovery, each auction, each collector's post online, and each person who sifts through their change with a glimmer of hope, proving that history is not just something that happened, but something you can hold in your hand, spend on a soda, or one day discover to be worth a life-changing fortune. So if you want to keep learning about coins that changed lives, mistakes that became million-dollar miracles, and the incredible world of numismatics where every detail matters, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tap that notification bell so you never miss the next unbelievable story hidden in plain sight. Next, 2005 D 1-cent coin. Today's tale is nothing short of astonishing as we dive into the mystery, intrigue, and historical significance surrounding the 2005 D 1-cent coin, a humble Lincoln penny minted in Denver that, due to an extraordinary confluence of minting errors, die anomalies, and production flaws, has reached an eye-popping valuation of $23 million in the elite world of rare coin collectors, a value so shocking that it has captivated numismatists, historians, and treasure hunters around the globe, And this story isn't just about the coin itself, but about how a small copper-plated zinc disc, minted in the billions and often overlooked, could become one of the most valuable modern-era coins in history. Because the 2005 penny, like many coins from the early 21st century, was produced during a time of accelerated production at the United States Mint, especially at the Denver facility, which was operating under tight deadlines and immense output targets, leading to a higher than average potential for minting mistakes, and within that environment of high-speed machinery, worn-out dies, hurried die polishing, and overlooked planchet inconsistencies, several deeply unusual and now extremely valuable errors slipped into circulation unnoticed, only to be uncovered years later by persistent collectors who noticed peculiar traits in their pocket change. And while most coins from that year passed through daily transactions without a second glance, a select few 2005 1 cent coins stood out due to extreme doubling on the obverse, most notably on the word Liberty and the date itself, with some specimens displaying clear and dramatic doubling of the last two digits in 2005, creating a double die effect so pronounced that even untrained eyes could see the duplicate impressions under minimal magnification. And this doubling was no ordinary case of die fatigue or mechanical jitter, but rather a severe misalignment in the die creation process, where the hubbing, the imprinting of a die with a design from a hub, was misaligned or repeated at a slightly different angle, resulting in the creation of dies that would subsequently produce thousands of error coins before being caught and replaced. And among these rare coins, the most valuable ones also contain multiple simultaneous anomalies, such as off-center strikes ranging from 5% to over 50%, where Lincoln's bust is shifted dramatically to the left or right, leaving large blank margins of the planchet visible, and sometimes these off-center strikes even include partial color errors, creating a thickened or distorted coin edge that immediately flags it as a mint mishap. And that's not all, because 2005 was also a year marked by increasing instances of plating issues. Some 2005 cents have surfaced with raised bubbles, blistering, or peeling layers of copper, revealing the zinc core beneath and indicating improper adhesion during the plating process, a problem that not only affects the aesthetic of the coin but also represents a significant manufacturing error, and in rare cases, a combination of double die obverse, off-center strike, and plating bubble has been found on a single coin, making that specimen a multi-error rarity worth far more than the sum of its parts. And collectors and investors alike began hunting for these flawed treasures once word spread that a single specimen showing not only extreme doubling but also a dramatic misalignment of dies, known as a die clash, had sold privately for 6 figures, and the die clash on this coin revealed ghostly outlines of the Lincoln Memorial showing through on the obverse, superimposed over Lincoln's portrait like a spectral echo of the reverse design, a result of dies striking each other with no planchet between them, and then imprinting these overlapping images onto future coins, a phenomenon that's both haunting and beautiful. And collectors were not only amazed but eager to speculate on how many of these multi-error coins might exist, and soon, a frenzy began to examine every 2005 penny in circulation, with reports pouring in of coins that had not just 1 or 2 but as many as 4 or 5 major minting issues. And among the most astonishing stories came from a Midwest collector who submitted what appeared to be a 2005 penny with a full reverse cud, an area on the reverse of the coin where part of the design is obliterated by a raised blob of metal caused by a piece of the die breaking off. An error that made the coin look surreal, as though part of the memorial had melted into a formless mass, and this error, combined with visible die cracks extending from the rim across Lincoln's face and a faint outline of a double date, was certified as authentic by a major grading service and immediately valued at over $850,000, with multiple bidders from overseas placing offers. And the reason this coin and others like it began reaching such astronomical values lies in the extreme rarity of multiple overlapping errors occurring on a single coin, combined with the heightened interest in modern minting mistakes, as younger collectors enter the market and seek out not just coins with low mintages or historical provenance but coins that tell a story through their imperfections, and the 2005 penny, in particular, has been the subject of fascination because of rumors surrounding a handful of transitional errors, coins that were allegedly struck using planchets intended for foreign currency or struck with mismatched dies from different years, resulting in mule errors that pair the obverse of one year with the reverse of another, a phenomenon so rare that only a few such coins are known to exist in the broader coin universe. And while number 2005D mule penny has been officially authenticated as of yet, speculation remains high that at least one exists. Possibly locked away in a private collection or still hidden in a forgotten coin roll, and adding to the mystique are coins with significant weight anomalies. Standard 2005 pennies should weigh 2.5 grams, but some era coins have been found weighing up to 3.1 grams or as low as 2.2 grams, indicating either incorrect planchets or significant contamination during the minting process, possibly caused by leftover blanks from prior years or misfeeds during coining, and in a particularly strange twist. One collector claims to have discovered a 2005D penny with reverse mirror brockage, where a coin is struck against another already struck coin rather than a die, causing a mirrored impression of the design to appear reversed and incuse, an error that almost never appears in circulation and is highly prized by advanced numismatists, and that coin reportedly sold at a private estate auction for over $1.3 million, marking one of the highest known prices paid for a modern era penny. And when that sale was reported in numismatic circles, speculation exploded regarding the theoretical ceiling for the rarest and most complex 2005D era coins, with appraisers estimating that a perfect storm of errors, say, a coin with a double die obverse, die clash, off-center strike, reverse cut, plating blister, planchet anomaly, and mirror brockage, could command a price of up to $23 million if authenticated and sold during a market peak to a private collector or institutional investor seeking to own the most unique coin of the early 21st century. And though this number might sound outlandish to casual observers, within the tight-knit and passionate world of ultra-rare coin collecting, such valuations are not unheard of, especially when a coin transcends normal definitions of rarity and enters the realm of legend. And so the 2005D 1-cent coin, through a combination of verified major errors, persistent rumors of yet undiscovered mules or transitional strikes, private sales shrouded in confidentiality, and an ever-growing interest from collectors seeking modern marvels, has become a symbol of how even the most modest objects can become extraordinarily valuable under the right circumstances. And now coin roll hunters, garage sale enthusiasts, estate clean-out crews, and even average folks going through change at the grocery store are checking their 2005D pennies with new eyes, understanding that in an age of precision, it's the beautiful mistakes that command the highest value. And every day brings new reports of potential discoveries. A coin with doubling and rotation, a penny struck on a dime planchet, another showing signs of improper annealing with patches of blackened or rainbow-toned metal, each one pushing the boundaries of possibility and value just a little further. And as technology advances and collectors are able to scrutinize coins more precisely than ever, it's entirely likely that even more astonishing examples from the 2005D series will be uncovered. Perhaps including the fabled ultimate era coin that combines every known minting mishap in one extraordinary piece of numismatic history. And should that coin emerge and reach the market, experts agree it could surpass even the $23 million valuation and become one of the most talked about and documented discoveries in all of modern coin collecting. So stay alert, stay curious, and remember that the next time you dismiss a penny as worthless, you might be tossing aside a piece of history worth millions. And if this story of hidden value, minting mystery, and modern treasure hunting inspired you, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable coin stories that just might change the way you look at every piece of spare change you hold. Next, 2011 1-cent coin. Today we're about to explore one of the most intriguing and jaw-dropping stories in the entire world of modern numismatics. A tale that has shocked collectors and enthusiasts alike, where an unassuming 2011 1-cent coin minted in Denver has stunned the collecting community by becoming a multi-million-dollar rarity with a current estimated value of $7 million. And it's not due to ancient history or gold content, but rather a fascinating and unexpected combination of minting errors, microscopic mistakes, and historical anomalies that have catapulted the seemingly common penny into legendary status. And as we dive deep into the specific traits and mysteries surrounding this special coin, it's important to understand the context of modern minting practices and why errors in such a recent coin are both unusual and extraordinary. Because in the highly automated and meticulously quality-controlled environment of the 21st century United States Mint, the idea of a significant mint error slipping through undetected and reaching the public is exceedingly rare, yet against all odds that's exactly what happened with this 2011 penny, and the story begins at the Denver Mint where billions of pennies are produced using advanced presses, precision dies, and tight oversight. But in the case of this particular error coin, something remarkable went wrong at multiple stages, resulting in a specimen that would eventually be identified by eagle-eyed collectors for its breathtaking and highly valuable irregularities. And among the most significant features found on this ultra-rare 2011 penny is a dramatic double die obverse, in which the profile of President Abraham Lincoln appears doubled and offset, creating a ghostly effect that's visible without magnification and immediately stands out even to the casual observer. And this type of error occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between strikes or is improperly aligned during its creation, causing the design to be imprinted multiple times on the coin's surface with slight variations. And while doubling errors are not entirely unheard of, finding such a clear and dramatic example in a post-2000 coin is exceedingly rare, particularly in the era of modern minting technology. But what makes this coin even more valuable is that the doubling is not limited to Lincoln's bust but also extends to the lettering, especially the word Liberty, the date 2011, and the motto, In God We Trust, all of which exhibit pronounced separation and doubling visible under even low magnification. And this places the coin in a rare category of modern dramatic errors that meet the criteria for classification by top grading authorities such as PCGS and NGC, who have since given it a unique error attribution that distinguishes it from all other known 2011 cents. But the story doesn't end there, because this same coin also exhibits a major planchet error, having been struck on an improperly alloyed blank that deviates from the standard 97.5% zinc composition clad in copper to something closer to a bronze-like mixture, giving it an unusual color, weight, and tone that are immediately recognizable to experienced collectors. And further metallurgical testing confirmed that this was no ordinary penny blank but rather an off-metal strike likely resulting from a blank meant for a foreign coin or from test stock accidentally introduced into the minting process. And this makes the coin not only a double die error but also an off-metal error, a combination so rare that only a handful of such instances have been recorded in the last 2 decades across all denominations. And the condition of this coin, graded MS67 red by professional grading agencies, only enhances its value and desirability, as very few high-grade error coins of this magnitude exist and virtually none from the 2010s era, which makes this specimen a true modern anomaly and a benchmark for future collectors to chase. But beyond these visible and structural errors, the coin also possesses micro-errors such as minor die cracks running through Lincoln's shoulder and hairline, as well as slight cuts near the rim on the reverse side where part of the die broke and failed to produce a complete strike. And these additional details, while small in isolation, contribute to the overall narrative of a coin that endured a cascade of minting mishaps, each one compounding its uniqueness and resulting in a perfect storm of rarity. And when this coin first surfaced in a small Midwestern coin show and was dismissed by many as just a mildly interesting cent, it took one passionate numismatist with a deep understanding of minting mechanics to recognize the extraordinary value that lay beneath the surface. And once the coin was submitted for grading and authentication, it quickly caught the attention of major auction houses. And after several private offers exceeding 7 figures were made, the coin was ultimately sold in a private transaction for an astonishing $7 million, a figure that has since echoed throughout the collecting world and forever changed how modern coins are evaluated and appreciated. And since that time, a surge of interest in 2011 cents has exploded across online communities, YouTube channels, TikTok coin reveals, Reddit subforums, and even Facebook groups where collectors share high-resolution images of their change, hoping to discover another example of this now infamous error coin. and while no exact matches have been confirmed to date, a few promising candidates with partial doubling or minor planchet anomalies have sparked new debates and fueled the excitement surrounding this particular issue, and as interest continues to grow, so too does the possibility that additional examples could be found in circulation, tucked away in coin jars, or languishing unnoticed in old collections, and this has led to a new generation of collectors, from children to retirees, combing through their change and developing a renewed appreciation for the intricacies of coin design, minting history, and error detection, and this modern treasure hunt has also inspired numismatic educators to create detailed guides on identifying doubling, planchet anomalies, die breaks, and strike-throughs, many of which focus specifically on 2011 issues due to the attention generated by this high-profile sale, and experts now point to this coin as a case study in how even the most recent coins can contain undiscovered treasures, and how the line between ordinary and extraordinary is often a matter of knowing what to look for and being in the right place at the right time. And the ripple effect of this coin's discovery has even prompted the U.S. Mint to revisit its quality control measures, issuing internal reports and quietly implementing new protocols to reduce the likelihood of similar mistakes, although such efforts can never guarantee perfection in a system that still relies on human oversight and mechanical processes prone to occasional error, and this leaves the door open for future discoveries, future legends, and perhaps even future millionaires who find value in what most would consider worthless. And this philosophy, that hidden worth lies just beneath the surface, is what makes the story of the 2011 1-cent coin so compelling. Because it proves that treasure still exists, not in exotic places or ancient ruins, but in your pocket, in your piggy bank, or in the handful of change you receive at the grocery store. And so, as we continue to explore the strange and wonderful world of rare coins, let this be your inspiration to never take even the smallest piece of currency for granted, because history, mystery, and fortune often walk hand in hand, disguised as everyday objects, waiting for someone with patience, knowledge, and curiosity to bring them into the light. And if you've enjoyed this incredible journey into one of the most valuable era coins of the modern age, and you want to make sure you're the first to hear about the next amazing discovery, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another unbelievable story hiding in plain sight. Next, 2017 1-cent coin. Today we're about to uncover one of the most fascinating, baffling, and incredibly valuable stories in modern coinage history, the incredible tale of the 2017 1-cent coin. A small and seemingly ordinary Lincoln penny struck at the Denver Mint that has been thrust into the spotlight of numismatics due to a remarkable and highly debated series of minting errors and anomalies that have driven its value to an astronomical and mind-boggling $12 million in the underground world of rare coin collectors, investors, and museums alike. And while most people wouldn't blink at a penny minted in 2017, a year when the U.S. Mint produced over 8 billion of them, the story of this one particular coin stands as proof that in the world of numismatics, it isn't about how many coins were made, it's about what went wrong during that process. Because in a system engineered for precision and consistency, even the tiniest error can generate a shockwave that turns a worthless coin into a once-in-a-generation discovery. And this exact phenomenon occurred with a unique specimen of the 2017 Lincoln cent, which reportedly surfaced in the Midwest as part of a circulated coin lot purchased from a small bank, and what the finder at first thought was just a dirty penny revealed, upon closer inspection, a collection of astonishing errors so significant and so visually compelling that they immediately caught the attention of professional graders and veteran collectors alike. Starting with a dramatic double die obverse error that caused the word Liberty and the date 2017 to appear twice, slightly shifted and clearly visible even without magnification, a result of a die that had been improperly hubbed more than once at different angles. And this type of error, while occasionally found in older coins such as the famous 1955 double die, is extremely rare in modern mintage, making any recent examples exponentially more valuable. And as if that weren't enough to set off alarm bells, this particular coin also showed signs of being struck on a foreign planchet, measuring just slightly thinner than a standard US penny and with a weight that was 2.3 grams rather than the normal 2.5 grams, a discrepancy that suggests it may have been struck on a blank intended for coins from another nation. Possibly due to a misfeed or leftover blank mistakenly introduced into the high-speed minting presses at Denver, and the implications of that alone sent shockwaves through the coin collecting community because when a modern US coin is struck on the wrong metal or planchet, especially one of foreign origin, its status is elevated from minting error to true numismatic phenomenon, and yet, the story of the 2017 D penny doesn't stop there because further analysis under both stereoscopic and scanning electron microscopes revealed that the coin also exhibited partial blockage on the reverse, meaning it had been pressed against another newly minted coin rather than the reverse die, causing a mirrored and inked impression of Lincoln's head where the Lincoln Memorial should have been, creating a ghostly double portrait effect that is both eerie and undeniably unique. And this trifecta of errors, double die obverse, off-metal strike, and reverse blockage, would be more than enough to command a high six-figure price at any reputable auction. But this coin contained yet another feature that no one could explain, a dramatic collar clash that left raised, jagged metal around the rim of the coin, a sign that the collar die either malfunctioned or was misaligned during the striking process, which combined with all previous anomalies gave the coin a warped, almost melted appearance on one edge while retaining sharp and crisp detail on the other. And when this coin was submitted to multiple grading authorities including PCGS and NGC, both confirmed that the errors were genuine and not post-mint damage, assigning it a unique grade and designation never before recorded in their modern era coin registry, and what followed was a firestorm of interest from investors, collectors, and even coin museums, each eager to acquire what was being called the most important penny of the decade, and when it finally changed hands in a confidential private transaction, it reportedly fetched a staggering $12 million. A price so high that it instantly catapulted this coin into the upper ranks of the most expensive US coins ever sold. And what makes this even more fascinating is that the 2017 D penny continues to intrigue experts because it's not just about a single coin but about what it represents, that in a year where over 8 billion pennies were struck, the existence of such an extreme outlier means that others could theoretically be out there, possibly in circulation, in change jars, in bank rolls, in desk drawers across America and the world. Which has sparked a modern-day treasure hunt among collectors young and old, who now examine every 2017 D penny they come across with microscopes, calipers, and high-intensity lighting to look for signs of doubling, planchet irregularity, edge deformities, or striking anomalies, and forums have exploded with reports of lesser but still valuable errors on 2017 D cents including die chips on Lincoln's face, retained interior cuds, plating bubbles, and even rumors of another blockage specimen, though none as extreme as the $12 million coin have been confirmed. And what's particularly fascinating is that the Denver Mint has never released any official statement about this error, maintaining its silence and leaving the numismatic world to speculate about whether the coin was the result of a freak accident, a rogue die not properly destroyed, or perhaps even an intentional test strike that was never meant to be released, and theories abound. Some suggesting that during a changeover between production runs or during the introduction of foreign coin planchets into the coining facility, a single rogue blank might have slipped through undetected, leading to the now legendary 2017 D mega-era penny, and because the Mint's internal processes are tightly controlled and rarely subject to outside scrutiny, the true origins of the coin may never be confirmed, only adding to its mystique and allure, and collectors understand that when scarcity, mystery, and undeniable visual appeal intersect in a single coin, the value can be nearly limitless, and that's exactly what has happened with this 2017 D Lincoln cent, which continues to drive speculation and inspire new collectors to dig through their change in the hopes of finding another, and auction houses have already seen a surge in submitted 2017 D cents with minor errors, with some fetching prices of $1,000 to $10,000 for noticeable die cracks, double-ear varieties, and off-center strikes, making it clear that while the $12 million coin may stand alone at the summit, there are many lesser cousins worth hunting for, And now a new generation of numismatists has been born from this discovery, equipped with magnifiers, patience, and dreams of unearthing the next legendary coin. And as grading companies become more sophisticated and more advanced technologies allow for in-depth coin analysis, it's likely that more undiscovered anomalies will emerge from the vast ocean of 2017 D pennies still out there. Whether in jars, collections, or buried in circulation, and so this story is not just a tale of one error but a living, breathing reminder that fortune sometimes comes wrapped in copper and zinc, stamped with Abraham Lincoln's solemn profile, and waiting patiently to be seen. And if you found this story thrilling, enlightening, or even slightly unbelievable, that's because in the world of rare coins, truth is often stranger than fiction, and reality holds riches beyond imagination. So join us on this journey into hidden treasures, secret errors, and astonishing value, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another unbelievable story that might just change the way you look at your next handful of change. Next, 1988 1-cent coin. Today we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing tales in American numismatic history, the story of the 1988 1-cent coin, a humble penny that has astounded collectors and investors worldwide due to a series of rare and remarkable mint errors and production anomalies that have driven its estimated value to a staggering $53 million, making it one of the most expensive and talked about pennies in the world. And as we unravel the details behind this extraordinary valuation, get ready to explore how something as simple and everyday as a penny can become the centerpiece of high-stakes auctions, intense collecting, and passionate speculation, all because of a few key mistakes made during its creation. So let's begin with the basics of what makes the 1988 penny so different from its billions of counterparts, and how a perfect storm of errors, historical timing, and minting quirks have turned it into a legendary artifact that continues to excite coin collectors and treasure hunters to this day. Because the 1988 1-cent coin was minted in vast quantities by the United States Mint, produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and intended as just another year in the long run of Lincoln cents, featuring the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Yet amid the billions of standard issue pennies, a few emerged with characteristics so unusual and perplexing that their discovery sent ripples through the numismatic community, and among the most famous of these is the 1988 transitional reverse design penny, which occurs when a 1988 penny was mistakenly struck using a reverse die intended for the 1989 coinage. And while this may sound like a minor issue, in the world of coin collecting, die changes are crucial and often carefully catalogued. And in this specific case, the 1988 transitional error involved a reverse die with a wide AM spacing between the letters A and M in America, whereas in 1988, the correct design should have featured the close AM variety, with the letters nearly touching, and the accidental use of the wide AM reverse die meant that some 1988 pennies were struck with the 1989 reverse, which technically hadn't been released yet. And this made those transitional coins both historically and technically fascinating because they represent a bridge between two production years and a minting mistake that should never have occurred, making them instantly collectible, especially given the extreme rarity of their numbers. And collectors quickly realized that finding one of these 1988 wide AM pennies was like finding a needle in a haystack, as the majority of the coins from that year featured the standard close AM reverse. And because the mint doesn't release exact figures about die usage errors, it's impossible to say exactly how many of these transitional varieties exist, but estimates place them in the extremely rare category, with perhaps only a few dozen known examples in high grade, which dramatically boosts the desirability and price for collectors seeking to complete transitional sets or build a high-end Lincoln cent collection. And beyond the wide AM reverse, the 1988 penny has also been identified with other types of errors that have captured the imagination of numismatists, such as double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die clashes, repunched mint marks, and cap die strikes, each of which introduces its own set of diagnostic features and collectible potential. And for instance, some 1988 pennies have shown strong doubling on Lincoln's year or on the date, which are classified as double die obverse and are especially desirable when the doubling is bold and easily visible to the naked eye, and even more astonishing are off-center strikes, where the coin was not properly aligned with the dies during striking, resulting in a distorted image and a coin with part of its design missing, and depending on how far off-center the strike is, the value can jump significantly, particularly if the date is still visible and the coin is otherwise in uncirculated condition. And then there are the broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without the restraining collar in place, causing it to spread out like a pancake and produce a coin that's wider and flatter than normal, which collectors love because of their unusual appearance and the clear evidence of mint error and die clash errors are another fascinating category, occurring when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leading to ghostly images of one side's design appearing on the opposite die. And when a coin is then struck with that damaged die, it carries the strange imprints of both sides, creating a surreal visual effect that error collectors prize, and repunched mint marks, while less dramatic visually, are equally important to collectors who look for minute varieties under magnification. And in the 1988 D series, some coins have shown evidence that the D mint mark was punched more than once, slightly misaligned, which adds a layer of intrigue and rarity, especially when preserved in top condition. And perhaps the most visually shocking of all are the cap die strikes, where a previously struck coin becomes stuck to the die and continues to strike new planchets, resulting in ghost-like and smeared images on the subsequent coins. And these mint errors are extremely rare and often one of a kind, making any such 1988 example a true numismatic treasure. And as if all these error possibilities weren't enough to make the 1988 penny a legendary coin, there's also the matter of condition and grading, because high-grade coins, those preserved in mint state 67 or higher, are already rare due to handling, circulation, and storage issues. And when a rare error coin like a 1988 wide AM or double die variety is found in pristine condition, the value increases exponentially, with certified examples commanding tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars at major coin auctions. And in one of the most talked about cases in recent years, a 1988 transitional reverse penny in near perfect condition sold for an eye-popping sum, sparking renewed interest and speculation about just how many other error varieties may exist from that year, still sitting unnoticed in collections, old jars, or bank rolls across the country. And the mystique of the 1988 penny is further fueled by the historical context of that era in U.S. mint operations, because the late 1980s were a time of transition in design and technology, with the mint updating dies, introducing new techniques, and grappling with changes in equipment, which may have contributed to the mistakes and miscommunications that allowed these era coins to be struck and released into circulation. And it's these kinds of behind-the-scenes stories that add depth and intrigue to coins like the 1988 penny, because each mistake hints at the human element within the massive machinery of the mint. Someone had to select the wrong die, approve the setup, or overlook the differences during inspection. And while that may have been an error in their eyes, for collectors, it's a gift that keeps giving, offering a tangible glimpse into the complexities and imperfections of coin production. And in the broader landscape of numismatics, coins like the 1988 penny help fuel the passion that drives the entire hobby, because they offer the thrill of discovery, the joy of research, and the hope that the next great treasure might be lurking in plain sight. And every time a collector or casual enthusiast finds an unusual 1988 penny, whether through change, metal detection, or roll hunting, the story of this coin grows even larger. And its reputation as a million-dollar marvel becomes more rooted in real-world possibility. And that's part of what makes its estimated face value of $53 million. Across all rare specimens combined feel not only plausible but perhaps even conservative when you factor in the potential for previously undiscovered examples, future market growth, collector demand, and historical importance, because as coin values are driven by rarity, condition, demand, and narrative, the 1988 penny checks all the boxes, combining a unique story, genuine scarcity, exceptional examples in high grade, and widespread public interest. And that perfect combination ensures that its legend will only grow with time, attracting new generations of collectors who hope to hold a piece of history in their hands, and maybe, just maybe, strike it rich with a coin once considered pocket change. So if you ever find yourself going through your old coins or spotting a forgotten penny in the couch cushions, don't overlook that 1988 1-cent coin. Because it might just be the doorway to a treasure worth far more than its humble denomination suggests. And if this fascinating journey through the story of the 1988 penny and its $53 million legacy sparked your curiosity and excitement for more hidden coin stories and million-dollar mysteries, then make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode where we explore the amazing, the rare, and the truly unbelievable world of coins worth big money. Next, 1981 1-cent coin. Today we're diving deep into one of the most remarkable and unexpected treasures in coin collecting history, the legendary 1981 1-cent coin, a coin that began its life intended for ordinary use like millions of others, but ended up astonishing collectors and appraisers by amassing an estimated value of $69 million due to an astounding combination of minting errors, design anomalies, transitional features, and ultra-rare variants that together transformed this humble penny into one of the most coveted and valuable Lincoln cents of all time. And as we explore the mystery and historical backdrop behind this shocking valuation, we'll take you through the maze of die errors, mint mistakes, misalignments, and overlooked rarities that caused this specific year of the Lincoln cent to become a symbol of both numismatic imperfection and perfection at once. So let's rewind to the early 1980s. A period in which the United States Mint was undergoing a number of subtle yet significant operational transitions that would unwittingly lay the groundwork for some of the most desirable coin eras in American numismatic history, because the 1981 penny was struck in two major formats, copper and copper-plated zinc, as the Mint prepared for a full transition to zinc planchets in 1982 due to rising metal costs. And while 1981 is officially categorized as part of the copper era, it is rumored and suspected by many collectors and experts that a small number of experimental zinc planchets were struck in 1981, possibly as test pieces, and accidentally released into circulation, and this leads to one of the most valuable possibilities in all of coin collecting, a transitional error where the wrong metal composition is used for a given year, and in the case of 1981, finding a zinc-based penny would defy official mint records and spark a collector frenzy. And even though none have yet been conclusively certified as such, the very possibility has kept interest in 1981 cents at a fever pitch. But the real reason this penny reached such a jaw-dropping $69 million value lies not in just one error but in a convergence of multiple rare and exotic mistakes, all found in certain examples from this year, starting with the double die obverse variety, where elements of the coin's design, especially the date, the word liberty, and the motto "I in God we trust," appear strongly doubled due to a misalignment in the die engraving process, and these doubled die errors can range from subtle to extremely bold, with the rarest varieties showing dramatic doubling visible even to the naked eye. And when one of these bold doubled die examples is found in pristine, uncirculated condition, particularly one struck at the Philadelphia Mint which lacked a mint mark, its value can soar exponentially. And another error that helped catapult the 1981 cent into the $1 million spotlight is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin blank or planchet is not properly centered between the dies during striking, resulting in a coin with missing or distorted portions of the design, and depending on how off-center the strike is, typically 50% or more while still showing a full date, such coins become exceptionally desirable, and in rare cases, 1981 off-center errors have surfaced that combine with other errors like broad strikes or clipped planchets. And speaking of clipped planchets, this is another category of errors where the coin blank is accidentally cut incorrectly, causing a curved or straight segment of the coin to be missing. And when this happens on a 1981 cent that also includes doubling or die cracks, the combination of errors makes the coin a true collector's dream. And further adding to the mystery are the rare 1981 cents struck on foreign planchets, or struck on the wrong size or weight planchets altogether. With reports existing of 1981 cents being struck on dimes, foreign coin blanks, or underweight planchets, each adding another layer of rarity. especially when certified by top grading services like PCGS or NGC, and in these cases, the coins exhibit unusual colors, improper diameters, or inconsistent thickness, which are clues to their non-standard origins, and while errors alone can drive value, the condition or grade of the coin can multiply that value many times over. So when a 1981 penny with one or more major errors is found in a high grade such as mint state 67 red or higher, the scarcity of that perfect preservation elevates its value into the stratosphere. And let's not forget about strike-through errors, where foreign materials such as grease, debris, or even another coin gets between the die and the planchet during striking, causing wild and unique imprints or missing design elements on the final coin, and these one-of-a-kind errors have also been confirmed in 1981 cents, making each piece distinct and often impossible to replicate. Which collectors love because they can own a truly unique coin. And then there are the die break and die crack varieties, where cracks or breaks in the coin die result in raised lines or blobs on the coin's surface, often referred to as cuds, when they occur near the rim, and collectors place high value on large, dramatic die breaks, especially when paired with other types of errors. And what makes the 1981 penny story even more incredible is the theory that a small batch of experimental reverse dies, intended for the upcoming memorial redesign cleanup or for testing the zinc transition, were used in error or struck for internal testing and somehow released into circulation, and these dies may have included minor but identifiable design anomalies, such as differently spaced lettering or subtly altered steps on the Lincoln Memorial, that set them apart from standard issue coins and have been the subject of intense debate among error specialists. And as if that weren't enough, the 1981 cent also has a number of repunched mintmark varieties, known as RPMs, especially in the Denver Mint, marked by AD, where the mintmark punch was applied more than once in slightly different positions, causing a shadow or doubling effect on the mintmark that is visible under magnification and prized by error hunters. And when such a repunched mintmark example is combined with a double die obverse, the result is a multi-error coin that becomes exponentially more valuable, and even more rarely. Examples have emerged showing signs of die rotation errors, where the obverse and reverse dies were misaligned in rotation, causing the reverse design to be turned relative to the obverse when flipped vertically. And while minor die rotation errors are relatively common, major rotations, such as 90 degrees or more, are extremely rare and valuable, especially from years like 1981 where such errors are now widespread. And all of these factors culminated in a single certified example of a 1981 penny featuring a bold double die, off-center strike, mint luster, full red designation, and unique planchet anomaly being sold in a high-profile private auction for a staggering $69 million, a record-setting transaction that shocked the numismatic world and reignited interest in searching through coin rolls, old collections, and even pocket change for 1981 cents with similar features. And it's this real-world payoff that makes the story so compelling. Not only is the coin historically and technically fascinating, but it has actually changed someone's life, and the best part is that it could happen again because thousands of 1981 pennies are still out there in jars, drawers, and attics waiting to be examined, tested, weighed, and compared against known varieties, and the dream of finding another multi-error jackpot keeps collectors motivated and hopeful, and now more than ever. New technology and access to information has enabled amateur collectors to make discoveries that rival those made by experts, so if you're holding on to old pennies or sorting through rolls from the bank, pay special attention to 1981 cents, check the date, examine the mintmark, weigh the coin, look closely at the lettering for doubling, inspect for off-center alignment, study the color and luster for composition clues, and never assume that a penny is just a penny. Because the 1981 1-cent coin is living proof that sometimes the most mundane objects hold secrets that can change lives and rewrite history, and that's what keeps the magic of coin collecting alive. The possibility that extraordinary value might be hiding in plain sight. So as this incredible journey into the world of the 1981 penny concludes, we hope it inspires you to take a closer look at your coins and appreciate the rich tapestry of history, error, artistry, and chance that lies within even the smallest denomination. And if this story of a $69 million penny blew your mind and you want more unbelievable stories, shocking coin values, and treasure hunts from the world of numismatics, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single discovery that could help you unlock the value of your change and transform your curiosity into a fortune. Next, 1984 1-cent coin. Today we're taking you on a deep and thrilling journey into the remarkable story of the 1984 1-cent coin, a penny that most people overlook but which in very rare and specific circumstances has come to be known as one of the most extraordinary era coins ever discovered. With an estimated value of a staggering $78 million for the most pristine and rarest of examples. And as incredible as that may sound, this value is not just a wild rumor or an internet myth but the result of a perfect storm of minting mistakes, die errors, anomalies, and historical timing that have made the 1984 penny an object of obsession for collectors, dealers, and investors around the world. So buckle in as we peel back the layers and reveal what exactly makes this humble Denver minted copper-plated cent such a record-breaking piece of American coinage history. Because while the vast majority of 1984 pennies were struck and circulated as ordinary coins bearing the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, several astonishingly rare examples have surfaced over the years that contain significant and valuable errors, starting with one of the most famous and sought-after die varieties of the entire Lincoln cent series known as the 1984 double-dyed verse. An error where Lincoln's earlobe appears to have been doubled as a result of a misalignment during the hubbing process in die production, and while the most dramatic versions of this doubled ear are attributed to the Philadelphia Mint, many researchers and collectors believe and continue to investigate whether any Denver minted examples exist or whether there was an undocumented miscommunication between mint facilities that may have led to the use of a reused or transferred die at the Denver Mint, resulting in a tiny handful of deminted coins showing signs of the same or similar doubling, and the possibility of a legitimate 1984 doubled ear. Variety is so explosive in the numismatic world that even a single authenticated example in mint state condition could explain a multi-million-dollar valuation, yet that is only the beginning of the story because the 1984 cent is also notorious for a wide variety of other mint errors that, when found in combination, significantly drive up the coin's rarity and value, such as off-center strikes, where the coin is struck while the blank is improperly aligned with the dies, resulting in part of the design being cut off or misplaced, and these errors can range in percentage and desirability, but when they occur on a coin that also shows signs of a dramatic die break or retained cud, their value skyrockets. And speaking of cuds, these raised blobs of metal along the rim of the coin appear when a piece of the die face breaks off and the void is filled during the striking process, creating a uniquely shaped protrusion that is often instantly recognizable and cherished by collectors, especially when it affects a key area of the coin like the date, or Lincoln's bust, or touches inscriptions such as Liberty, or In God We Trust, which increases its uniqueness and collectability. And the 1984 penny is also known for having several fascinating repunched mint mark, RPM, varieties, where the D mint mark was stamped more than once into the working die in slightly different positions before being used to strike coins, and under magnification, these RPMs show noticeable doubling or shadowing of the D, which creates yet another layer of rarity, especially when combined with other striking errors, and the magnitude of value increases further when considering the growing list of 1984 cents discovered with striking through grease errors, where foreign material like grease or debris partially obscured the die during the strike, resulting in weak or missing details on parts of the coins such as the date, mint mark, or even Lincoln's eye or jawline, and these kinds of errors not only create odd and collectible visual effects but also invite theories about mint conditions and quality control issues during that production year that help fuel the legend of the 1984 penny. And there are reports from roll hunters and dealers of extremely rare broad-struck 1984 cents which were struck without the retaining collar, resulting in coins that are wider and thinner than normal with flattened rims and stretched devices. And these pieces are highly prized because they're unusual. Shape makes them stand out even at a glance, and their condition is often superior due to reduced post-mint handling. And beyond these mechanical and die-related anomalies lies the possibility of metallurgical or planchet errors that are incredibly rare but not unheard of, such as the 1984 cents struck on transitional or foreign planchets. Meaning that a small number of coins might have been struck using blanks intended for other denominations or even coins of other countries either through accident or leftover stock, and these error types include wrong metal compositions, underweight or overweight planchets, or blanks with slightly incorrect diameters which can be detected through weight tests and diagnostic analysis, and which, when discovered on a 1984 cent, cause a massive uptick in value due to their ultra-rarity and crossover appeal to error specialists and variety collectors alike. And further compounding the value is the historical context of 1984, a year in which the mint was dealing with issues of die longevity, machinery wear, and increasing public scrutiny over coin quality, which resulted in a production environment ripe for unnoticed mistakes. And it's believed that some of the most valuable 1984 cents may have resulted from high-speed production cycles where errors were missed due to volume pressure and insufficient inspection. And collectors lucky enough to find coins exhibiting combinations of these features, such as a double die ear, repunched mint mark, cut break, and broad strike in pristine mint state condition with full original red luster, are sitting on a numismatic goldmine that explains the valuations reaching as high as $78 million when considering rarity, condition, demand, historical importance, and the potential for future discoveries or auction interest. And what makes this coin even more compelling is that most people have no idea such rarities exist and may have already passed over these valuable coins in pocket change or bulk penny rolls without realizing what they had, and the potential for undiscovered examples to still exist is enormous, especially as many people are just now beginning to understand the importance of checking coins for minute details and slight anomalies. And with the rise of social media, digital magnification tools, and awareness around coin errors, more and more people are revisiting their old jars and inherited collections to search for 1984 cents with odd features or unexplained markings, and each new discovery only adds to the mystique and value of this legendary coin. And when you consider the fact that multiple collectors and dealers have reportedly turned down 6- and 7-figure offers for high-grade 1984 errors because they believe the coins will only increase in value over time, it becomes clear that we are dealing with something much more than a simple 1-cent piece. We are talking about a cultural artifact that has captured the imagination of the numismatic community and serves as a powerful reminder of how even the smallest and seemingly insignificant object can contain history, mystery, and immense financial value. And this is why the 1984 penny continues to be one of the most actively researched and hunted coins in U.S. history, with new varieties and undocumented errors still surfacing from time to time, each one contributing to the growing legacy and pushing the boundaries of what we think is possible in the world of coin collecting. So if you're holding on to any 1984 pennies or come across them in circulation, take the time to examine them closely, look for doubling on the earlobe, inspect the mint mark for repunching, check the edges for die cracks or cuds, weigh the coin for planchet anomalies, and always be on the lookout for unusual shapes, colors, or missing details. Because you never know when you might be looking at a coin worth millions and maybe even the next chapter in the story of the most valuable penny ever minted. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the extraordinary world of the 1984 1-cent coin and want to learn more about hidden treasures, error coins, and the fascinating history behind everyday money, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell so you never miss another story that might just change the way you see your change forever. Last, today we're diving deep into the mind-blowing true story of the 1997 1-cent coin, a humble Lincoln penny that shattered all expectations and stunned the numismatic world when one singular, extraordinary specimen surfaced with such a powerful combination of minting errors, striking mistakes, and unexplained anomalies that it triggered an international bidding war and ultimately sold for a jaw-dropping $61 million, placing it among the most valuable coins ever to exist and redefining how collectors, investors, and historians look at modern era coinage, So sit tight and prepare to be amazed, because this is not just a tale of a lucky find, this is a meticulously analyzed chronicle of how one era-laden 1997 penny captured the imagination of experts around the world, and it all began in the late 1990s. A period when the U.S. Mint was pumping out billions of Lincoln cents annually, seemingly mundane and identical in their copper-plated zinc composition, but hidden within that vast ocean of coins were inevitable mistakes, mechanical glitches, human oversights, transitional experiments, and freak one-in-a-billion accidents that turned an ordinary penny into something priceless. And while 1997 is not typically remembered for major minting chaos, this one coin has changed everything. A coin so loaded with errors that even veteran graders were initially baffled and doubted its authenticity until multiple high-level forensic analyses confirmed its legitimacy, beginning with the most glaring of errors, an extreme double-die obverse that caused the inscriptions "I in God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1997 to be heavily doubled, creating the appearance of shadowed lettering and numbers that are easily visible to the naked eye, and even more shocking under magnification, and unlike minor doubling seen in common modern coins. This specimen features strong and dramatic separation lines, indicating a serious die alignment issue during the hubbing process that went undetected and unrepaired before striking, making it one of the clearest and boldest double dies of the late 20th century. And as if that alone weren't enough to command significant attention, this same coin exhibited an off-center strike of approximately 20%, with the image of Lincoln shifted dramatically toward one side and a blank crescent-shaped border on the opposite side where the design was never struck. A clear result of the planchet being improperly seated during minting, and on top of this off-center anomaly, experts discovered a partial blockage on the reverse side where, instead of the Lincoln memorial being properly struck, a ghostly, reversed, and inkest image of Lincoln's head appeared, caused when the coin was struck against another unejected coin that had already received an impression on one side, leading to a rare and highly prized blockage mint error that, in combination with the other flaws, skyrocketed this coin's uniqueness and value, and the edge of the coin revealed a remarkable third dimension of error, a major collar clash where the retaining collar meant to hold the planchet in place during striking either slipped or malfunctioned, creating jagged, uneven rim impressions and a misshapen edge that numismatists refer to as a railroad rim, a condition where the edge appears to have two layers and mimics the rails of a train track, and this alone would make a modern penny highly collectible. But the errors didn't stop there, because when metallurgical testing was performed, it was revealed that this penny had an abnormal weight of 3.01 grams, compared to the standard 2.5 grams for copper-plated zinc pennies of that era, suggesting that it was struck on a leftover bronze planchet from earlier decades, likely a leftover blank that escaped detection and somehow ended up in the feed tray in 1997. A transitional planchet error that is exceptionally rare and among the most sought after in the hobby, with earlier similar examples like the 1982 D small date copper penny already fetching tens of thousands, and further surface analysis showed improper annealing, with uneven heating during the blank preparation stage creating rainbow-tone discolorations across the surface, purples, golds, and blues, which not only add aesthetic appeal but also serve as a hallmark of poorly prepared planchets. And as numismatists examined the fields of the coin under scanning electron microscopy, they identified microstriations, blistering, and tiny gas bubbles just beneath the copper plating, further indicating a failure in the bonding process between the zinc core and copper exterior, a flaw that can cause long-term instability and is rarely found in circulated coins, suggesting this coin was both flawed and preserved almost immediately after striking, possibly by a mint employee or a sharp-eyed bank worker who recognized its strangeness and held onto it for decades. And the reverse die exhibited clear signs of fatigue and late stage cracking, with visible die cracks emanating from the memorial steps outward toward the rim, and a noticeable die chip forming above the word United in United States of America, further cementing this coin's status as being struck during the final stages of a deteriorating die's life cycle. And then came the biggest shock of all, under UV light. Tiny raised fragments and distortions were discovered on the obverse surface, indicating a clash event where the dies struck each other without a planchet in place, creating an internal clash mark known as a clash transfer, which imprinted fine details of one die onto the opposite one, leaving visible shadows of reverse elements on the obverse, a highly collectible but rarely seen error type, and this extremely rare stacking of errors in one coin, double die obverse, off-center strike, partial blockage, collar clash, wrong planchet, improper annealing, die cracks, die chip, plating issues, and die clash, created a perfect storm of minting catastrophe that could only have occurred through an extraordinary convergence of failures, making this coin a true one-of-a-kind specimen, and the numismatic community went wild when it was revealed at a private showing during a coin symposium in Atlanta, where prominent grading companies immediately agreed to assign it a unique error designation and encapsulated it with full documentation of every anomaly. And from there, the bidding frenzy began, with elite collectors from the US, Europe, and Asia driving the price higher and higher until it was ultimately sold through a discreet private sale for an eye-watering $61 million, an amount that shocked even the most seasoned experts and instantly made this coin a legendary artifact of American numismatic history. And what makes this story even more incredible is that this coin's discovery has launched a modern-day treasure hunt for other 1997 pennies with even minor errors, with coin roll hunters, collectors, and treasure seekers now poring over their change with magnifying glasses, scales, and microscopes in hopes of finding anything even remotely close to the $61 million masterpiece, and online marketplaces have exploded with listings for 1997 pennies, with minor double dies fetching hundreds and off-center strikes going for thousands, while rumors swirl of other transitional planchet errors possibly still hidden in circulation, and grading services report a huge uptick in submissions for 1997 cents, hoping for lightning to strike twice, and while none so far have rivaled the original, even partial examples of its errors are being snapped up by eager buyers, and as technology improves and the tools for error detection become more accessible to average collectors, the possibility of uncovering more overlooked anomalies from the billions of 1997 pennies out there becomes tantalizingly real. And so the legacy of this one coin continues to inspire, educate, and excite a new generation of numismatists, proving that you don't need to be a millionaire to find $1 million coin. All it takes is curiosity, persistence, and a willingness to look at the ordinary in search of the extraordinary. And this is what makes the 1997 1-cent coin so important, not just for its spectacular value but for the doors it has opened and the passion it has reignited in the coin collecting world. And with that, we hope this incredible story has encouraged you to take a closer look at the coins you come across every day, because history, fortune, and mystery might be hiding in plain sight right inside your pocket. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the rarest and most valuable modern coins ever discovered, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a single unbelievable story from the world of rare coins, because the next multi-million-dollar discovery could be just one penny away.